We begin with the latest push to secure the release of all remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas. Thousands are taking to the streets of Tel Aviv after Israel's biggest labor union announced a nationwide strike to demand an immediate ceasefire deal. The strike was ignited after Israeli forces recovered the bodies of 6 hostages over the weekend. Protesters are now blocking roads, and essential services like banks, schools, and hospitals are being impacted. Flights at Tel Aviv's international airport have also been disrupted. Now, Israel's labor court is ruling for the strike to end this hour. And Sasha Petrusik is at the protest right now in Tel Aviv. Sasha, give us a sense of just what's going on around you, please.
Well, people have been protesting here in sporadic groups around different parts of downtown Tel Aviv, blocking roads, making their voices heard. As you say, they are pushing for the release of hostages. What they'd like to see really is for the government to agree to a ceasefire deal with Hamas, which would allow fighting to stop so that the hostages could come home. There's some 97 hostages that are still left inside Gaza. Probably about a third of those are not alive anymore. But the people here are out on the streets. They have been for months, but that is escalating. The emotion is higher because they want them home now. That was especially heightened. The feelings have been especially heightened with the discovery of the 6 hostages, the 6 dead hostages yesterday. Ever since then, things have been growing, and there was the protest last night here was over 200,000 people. So people are really coming out now. It is not just a symbolic, theoretical thing. They really are taking action, trying to pressure a government that's shown no sign of really being interested in coming up with that kind of a deal, which would bring the hostages home quickly.
This is unbelievable that we have people killed there and our government is doing not what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm here to pay respect, to resist, to shout out and say this is not the way it should be.
The school system is on strike for all sorts of things. We're taking the opportunity to come here, show our support. Me personally, I haven't been here before in this context. We kind of don't really get the feeling of what's really going on in our country. We hear stories, we hear people telling us, we can't really feel it like right here.
So really, we're seeing all different walks of life coming out, many different Israelis. Yes, it's happening in Tel Aviv, but today it's happening in Haifa in the north. It's happening, people from the south are doing it. It really has become a national movement among many Israelis. There are those who want the fight to continue, the war to continue, but the loudest voices that are now being heard, certainly in Tel Aviv today, are on the side of wanting a deal. Linda?
And Sasha, what's the latest on what's been happening with the unions?
The unions so far have expressed support for this movement, but until today, they did not actually come out onto the streets themselves. They did not walk off the job. They did not announce labor action. Today, they did announce a general strike, which has had an impact on many different things. Yes, the courts have decided that it should only go on for another perhaps half an hour, but what we are seeing today from the unions is that many different areas have contributed. So we're talking about transportation. We're talking about the airport, which went on strike this morning. Still not completely back to normal. The main international airport, transportation systems, banks, hospitals are on reduced workload. So all kinds of areas have been affected by this, and they're trying to make their voices heard along with everybody else here. So the movement is really spreading. The voices are getting louder, and certainly it's become much more emotional. Linda?
Thanks very much for this, Sasha. That's Sasha Petrusik in Tel Aviv.